the first question is the governors are clamoring for a price hike. Of course, they are. Because in the end, who is subsidizing who? Crude oil cargoes are ring-fenced in order to import products so that we can burn those products in our cars at a subsidized rate. Now, in the end, that cost is being borne by the Federation. So governors are getting less and less. That's what I was saying. If you talk about the 3%, you can either take it from this side or you take it from the profit side. So when you're enjoying it in your cars, you're burning the money in the subsidy. You do not realize that if you didn't have subsidy, you will still probably even have more at the other end available to you. But we burn it at this end via subsidy. And then when it comes to the other profit end, there is less money because there are less cargoes to be sold to fund the Federation account. So the governors have realized that in the end, they are just cutting their noses to spite their face with subsidy. Because one way or the other, you are paying for it. You are subsidizing, and you are taking all this money on this side, burning it. And then they've just realized if they didn't subsidize, then these cargoes will be available and sold and shared as part of the Federation revenue. I believe that that must have been what has informed their decision to start clamoring for deregulation. Because in the end, it pays everybody better. And that's what I was saying about also the 3%. You take this money on this side, on the operational side, it's a lot of money, but you take less now on the profit side. On top of that, companies can now decide to say, look, because the operational cost is becoming too high, we don't want to come and invest in this territory. So if less companies come to invest, you have less revenue on the other side. So and you have less and less of everything. So this is a balancing act. We must realize that in many cases, we are just cutting our noses to spite our faces. Because you take it from this side, either on the side of subsidy or on the side of the 3%. And the 3% is charged to the operational cost. Nobody's going to charge the 3% to their profit now, you know. So they will charge it to the operational cost. And the operational cost will continue to rise. And then, of course, your profits will then continue to decline. And then you will certainly you'll be complaining that you have less profit on this side to share. But meanwhile, you didn't realize that you've already taken the money on the operational side. So it's a balancing act. But I think that at least we've been very fair to the host communities as well. And let them just take it. This amounts to quite a lot, even the 3%. It amounts to quite a lot, as they will see. Fortunately for us, this is the only fund that is targeted at the host communities in this country. Because all other such funds were not really targeted at the host community. Entities, for example, was actually established for this purpose as well, to douse the tension in the producing areas. But today, NDDC is not targeting those host communities. Because sometimes the expenditure, where NDDC is spending the money, is different from where the problem is happening. So the host communities continue to clamor. You have the 13% derivation, which was also instituted to douse this problem. And many times, this 13% is not targeted at the host communities. So the 13% may be spent somewhere, and the problem is happening somewhere else. So this is the first fund that is targeting the host communities. And the management of this fund involves also the oil companies who know where the shoe is pinching. So I believe that the coming together of community and oil companies and government will, for the first time, really address this problem of host community development.